Hello everyone, my name is Arsen and I am the Angel of Objectivism. And as you may or may not know, I have dropped out of college right after the first semester of college when I was about 18. And ever since, I've been working. And it's important to me to see people like myself get successful in their own life. And I understand that a lot of you young millennials and Generation Z people may have a hard time finding a job in this job market. So this quick video is not supposed to be very long, but it's supposed to help a lot of you people with a lot of these issues and helping you to figure out how to get a job easier and more importantly, how to last in a job market. So one of the first things I want to talk about is one of the first requirements in order to really be successful. And that would be this. Everything you do that can be recorded is something that an employer can see. Now, I use the persona of an angel, and when I get involved in activism, I understand that my face will be public, but by then, I will be looked at as more as a political activist, and most employers can look over that if you are not violent and if you have a clear goal. Obviously, making inflammatory jokes on the internet and hoping nobody sees if it is per se political and has a serious tone to it is not always a good idea to do publicly without covering up your face. Most employers won't care if, say, you were just making a comedy video or a movie review because most people aren't offended by it. But that's not really where I want to talk about. There's something you may not have thought about. Gentlemen and ladies, especially ladies, because statistics do show that women tend to not drive as well as men in their 20s. If you want to get a job, one of the worst things you can do, and this is something that caught me completely by surprise, because when I was a young teenager, I was stupid, don't have a bad driving record. I know it sounds small, but here's the thing. A lot of jobs, especially the ones that actually pay good, a lot of those jobs require a clean driving record, such as construction, metal fabrication, welding, which is a job you'd have to get certified for, but even for non-certified jobs, such as working in a foundry, which I have done, require a clean driving record. Delivering pizza, driving trucks, which could actually be a long-term career, although when driverless cars come around, that's a little fuzzy. I know a lot of people think that driverless cars will be the solution to everything, but computer programs are actually just as dumb as they always have been, so I don't know about that, and you can't really trust an AI at this moment to be dependable on itself, but I'm getting off topic. Really, I want you guys to understand this. A bad driving record will absolutely kill a lot of job opportunities that you didn't even know were out there, that could absolutely pay you enough to not only live, but to be happy. That will screw it up. So first off, clean up your damn driving record. Keep it clean and don't screw things up. And if you get even 1 or 2 tickets, it's best to immediately go to traffic school, take a few classes, get some points back. It'll absolutely help you. The second thing I want to talk about, criminal record. Now, this should go without saying you shouldn't have a criminal record. But even small little disputes where someone's pushing you around, the first thing you should do, here's the thing. I don't have the money for a firearm yet, but I want one really, really bad. So I'm saving up money for that. But if someone is threatening you, put your hand on your hip, but tell them, let's not do anything bad. Don't get tough. Don't get angry. If anything, say, hey man, why are you acting like this? Let's not do something we both regret. Try to calm the person down. Now, you have every right to defend yourself if they attack you. Don't pull out your gun until they actually attack you. That will guarantee that you don't go to jail that night. However, if you are unable to do that because maybe you are too poor for a firearm, my best advice, learn jiu-jitsu. If you can. There's plenty of online classes you can take for very little money, and there's also plenty of videos you can watch. And this is for people this is for people who can't afford a firearm. The reason why I'm talking to you people is because if you can't afford a firearm, you probably also can't afford jiu-jitsu lessons. But jiu-jitsu is a very, very good art. Jiu-jitsu is based on the idea of grappling, holding people down, and putting people in the restraints, and keeping both people safe. In fact, this is oftentimes the preferred art of many law enforcement to keep their perps safe as well as themselves. Now, if you can't do that, try to calm the person down, but don't tell him you're afraid. Oftentimes, they will still attack you. And remember, guys, never, ever throw the first punch. Unless you're defending someone else who's already being attacked, which in that case, go crazy. But don't ever throw the first punch. You are considered the perpetrator then. And then you are going to jail. Even for smaller things like selling marijuana. If you don't think you can get away with it and you're not on the streets, you actually have a good job, don't screw it up by selling weed. Ladies and gentlemen, your criminal record will absolutely screw you. Even one little misdemeanor, until it gets expunged, will screw your life up. Because it will make every employer not want to hire you. And ex-felons do have a harder time with this. So keep your criminal record clean. Number 3, graduate from high school. You need to do this. If you don't, I guarantee you no one is going to want to hire you. There's only a select group of people that will hire you, and out of the millions of jobs, it's going to be pretty hard to find that. Number 4, don't be afraid to take shitty jobs. Especially if they have good pay. Because a lot of jobs that are quote-unquote shitty jobs are actually not that bad. I've worked in a foundry before. It is hot, it is hard, and it is long. But it pays really, really well, and you build character. I've worked for FedEx. I've worked in restaurants. I've worked pretty much anywhere you could possibly imagine that allows for entry-level or mid-skill employees to work. So don't be afraid to take the dirtier jobs. They actually will help, and they oftentimes pay very, very good. I understand that there can be certain psychological limits that you just, no matter how much you try to push yourself, you just can't break. You know you would get fired because you just don't have it in you to stick with it. I understand that. I would never tell you, like for instance, one of the things I can't do is, I am okay with children, but only up to a certain age. It's not that I don't love kids. I usually babysit a lot of my own family's kids, but I can't deal with a whole bunch of them at once. When I'm talking about little tiny babies, I would probably not be able to be good in, say, like in a daycare, especially since daycares are usually very poorly managed, and they oftentimes don't give you the leverage to actually have fun with the kids. I babysit for about 5 kids at one time, and I did okay. But the thing is, I know that when it comes to maybe 24 or more kids, I'm just not equipped for that. And I can't do that. I do want kids of my own someday, but you'll take care of your kids a little bit better than you'll take care of someone else's kids, especially since you don't know who you're dealing with or what they come from. So I'm going to say that. Just don't take a job that you know you can't do. But at the same time, don't be afraid to take the shittier jobs. They usually pay better. And oftentimes the jobs you don't want are honestly not as bad as you think they are. And if they are, maybe you need to toughen up. And I'm talking both to the men and the women. Number 5, don't be afraid if you really need to get a place of your own to go full-time at your job. I know, I understand. It's not always fun to go ahead and work your ass off all day for whatever pay you're getting, but you have to. There's no way around it. Working full-time gives you enough pay to get healthcare benefits at certain jobs. Now, I don't believe that the government should force people to give out healthcare for their employees if they don't want to. But a lot of companies, even before the Obamacare bill, actually did give out healthcare for free. They chose to because they wanted long-term employees who were truly satisfied with what they were getting and would do a good job in return. The thing is, companies that have high expectations and high rewards get loyal employees because the consequences for not doing a good job are severe, and the consequences for doing a good job are also severe, giving high motivation. So work full-time. You'll get more benefits. You'll get better customer service. You'll get better respect from your bosses. You'll get more time off on the vacations, because time off is oftentimes for every hour that you work, for every 10 hours that you work. Vacation time is often for every 10 hours you work, you get an hour of vacation time. With all this being said, you should try and go full time. It's something I think a lot more people should really consider. Now, the final thing I really want to talk to you guys about, number 6, is this. I know it's not easy to admit this to yourself. And I know it's easy to just quit. But you need to do this. There's no way around it. You need to tolerate other people. I understand some of you guys think, well, I'm not a mean person. It probably won't hurt me too much. Trust me. Even if you're a really sweet person, there are people out there who are terrible. Who are just, if this was Game of Thrones, they'd be beheaded within the first episode. But this isn't. This is the real world, where there are police who, even if you punch them as a joke, they may call them and those police will arrest you. In real life, you need to tolerate people. It's hard and it's not always fun. But you can't think you're the center of the universe. Now, that doesn't mean if someone is out of line that you shouldn't point it out, but really examine what they're saying when they do that, so you have a good way of telling your boss, so this person gets told you can't treat people like shit. Also, sometimes it's good to just let things go, because if all someone is doing to you is saying mean words, that person is a weak, pathetic person, and their opinion means nothing. So don't pay attention to ad hominem insults or underhanded, passive-aggressive quirks. It's not worth it. It is simply and utterly not worth it. You need to be able to tolerate people. It's hard, but it's worth it. And body language is a huge part of this. Humans are animals, and so naturally we rely on things that are primal on a regular basis. That doesn't mean we want to completely depend on our primal parts in order to survive, but we kind of have to a certain degree. One of the things you should learn is body language. A book I highly recommend is What Everybody Is Saying by Joe Navarro, an ex-FBI agent's guide to speed reading people. There's a lot of other books that are okay, and I would even say that How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie is a good book too, and it is. But I would say Joe Navarro's book about body language is actually probably one of the best. You really should consider it, because body language can tell you a lot more about a person than just simply their words. The higher part of the mind that is able to lie controls the mouth and your words. The part that's not able to lie is the reptilian brain. That is the part that is the oldest and most primal part of your body. And that part is the majority of the part of the brain that controls body language. So you should study body language, because you really will get better tricks and insights into what people are really saying than if you just listen to their words. Now, that doesn't mean that, if someone tells you, well, I'll go do this, and they look nervous as hell, but they start walking towards whatever it is they were going to do, that they were lying. It just means that when someone seems to have an ulterior motive or seems to be hiding something, the best way to find out what they're hiding is to test them and to observe their body language. Now, a little bit of a rule of thumb. When you're doing this, 2 things. Number 1, you need to establish baseline behaviors. These are behaviors that are regularly perpetrated by whoever you're studying. This is something that the person does on a regular basis, regardless of what situation they're in. So establish baseline behaviors with whoever you're with. The second thing is, don't make it clear that you're observing them. Even if they know you're harmless and you're not going to do anything to hurt them, oftentimes people will hide their body language in order to avoid having their true intentions revealed. But guys, this is just me trying to give you the best advice I possibly can. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want some more tips, there's plenty more tips I can include, but these are the top 6 most important tips for getting a job. With that being said, my name is Arcian, and I am the Angel of Objectivism. And once this cold goes away, I'll be the cured Angel of Objectivism. Signing off.